Hi. So that was Unibet. That's one of our key brands, so you'll hear a bit more about them shortly. Before I get started, I just want to see a show of hands. Who here works in or with regulated industry? Okay, a few, smattering, that's good. And another one, who here has ever placed a bet or played a slot machine? Okay, cool, good. Okay, so it should be hopefully some nice, interesting, relevant content for you. So I joined Kindred just over a year ago as a head of marketing technology. It's a newly created role for the business to try and bring together the very broad range of different technical solutions in marketing that Kindred have built over the years. There's a lot of challenge, and obviously engagement, driving engagement for the business is a really key one for us. So Kindred's mission, which is really, really closely associated with driving that engagement, is to transform gambling by being a trusted source of entertainment that contributes positively to society. So we heard earlier about that value exchange, where we talk about engaging, and there's a value exchange which is needed there, and trust is essential to having a really effective value exchange. So it's a big focus for us as a mission. We have to work with regional governments, we have to work with regulators, and obviously we need trust with our customers. So a bit about Kindred. You might not know Kindred as a brand. We operate around the world. We're a leading gambling operator. Unibet is our primary brand that exists in most of our markets, but we also have tailored brands in specific markets, such as Maria Casino, Vlad Casino in Romania, tapping into the local Romanian heritage there. And we, as a result of this, we have to work within a range of different regulatory frameworks with a lot of different challenges and lots of different brand propositions. So trying to bring all of those together and deliver a consistent, seamless, scalable customer experience is quite an important challenge. And from a goals perspective, when we look at what it is that we're trying to deliver as part of that, it's not often that you see 0 as a goal. But really for us, we have a journey to 0 target, which is 0 revenue from harmful gambling by the end of next year, by the end of 2023. And part of the reason for that is, for us to continue operating sustainably with increasing regulation, with increasing visibility, transparency around, gambling and the behaviors that exist within the industry, it's really important for us to address that as a challenge head on. And that requires quite a lot of different technical capability. Alongside this, we also have a very strong target of 90% of our revenue coming from locally regulated markets. So we're actively trying to be successful within those heavily regulated markets rather than shying away into the markets that are less regulated. So it's a really important thing for us to try and address. Naturally, that carries quite a few challenges. So from a consumer perspective, there's shifting behaviors. Obviously, app is a really important consumer behavior. There's a lot of focus on the mobile experience, but actually loyalty, brand loyalty within the gambling world is very challenging. It's very price-driven, very bonus-driven, very hard to actually build that relationship with your customer base. From a product perspective, we rely on working very closely with lots of third parties, which can slow down or limit the amount of data that we get and how we can effectively activate, especially when we're talking about regulated industries. From a platform perspective, rules from the App Store and the Play Store are very strict when it comes to gambling. So we have to work really, really closely with Google, with Apple, to make sure that we're delivering effectively around their priorities and around their rules when we're releasing in new markets or updating our apps in existing markets. From a regulation perspective, with local regulators, we have to work very closely with them. As recently as last October, we had to exit the Netherlands market completely, instantly, almost overnight, and work very quickly over a few months to get back up to speed with new regulation, resubmit our credentials, and go live again effectively with a new platform in that market within a 6-month period. So we have to be very agile to respond to that. And obviously, from a technology perspective, that there's a need for agility and rapid data in the industry, and lots of advances in machine learning, which is helping us, but also provides a bit of a challenge around how we address the customer experience, how we address fraud and risk when it comes to player behavior. So that's a lot of challenge. There's a lot of things which are presenting challenges to us. And the way that we as a company, as a group, address that challenge is with core strategic enablers, which present a roadmap for us to meet our journey to zero, to drive that revenue in locally regulated markets, focusing on these key enablers, which are around having a unique product and customer experience, a very sustainable business, and scalable operations. In the context of today, we're going to focus on the unique product and customer experience. And actually, our app positioning is pivotal within this pillar. So the mobile experience is the product and customer experience. It's a first point of contact for a lot of our customers, and it's really critical for us to get right. The way that we get that right is with 4 key pillars. First is unified identity, making sure that we understand who that person is at an individual level. Second is integrated journey management, making sure that we can then track that user, and we've got clear touch points, and we understand who they are and where they are and what they want throughout their journey with us. Third is data-led activation. We need to be able to activate messaging to those customers in a seamless, effective way, so that we can we can deliver targeted messaging easily at scale. And fourth is content, making sure that we can deliver personalized, targeted content to those individuals, again, in a dynamic way that means that we can scale as we grow. And fundamentally, all of this has to be delivered with an apps-first mindset. The space that you have in an app to deliver that experience is quite limited. We've got a huge range of different products and propositions. There's lots of different matches from a sportsbook perspective that happen on every day across lots of different sports globally. We've got lots of different casino games on offer, live casino. So being considerate of the app space, where our customers are and what they're looking at, is pivotal to get all of these other elements right. So firstly, we talk about identity. At the core, we've got our first-party deterministic identifiers, so we have the Kindred ID. We need to get to a person-level view of the customer. So we've got to go beyond a device, a browser, a login. It has to come back to that individual. So in some of our markets, we need to be able to limit deposit amounts or bonus amounts across any brand that exists within the group. So we need to have a view of who an individual is across different brands within that market. And we need to be able to respond really quickly. So we've got to be able to identify that user at an individual level. We also have to work very closely with regulators and government so that we can verify those individuals. Different regulations in different markets require us to validate the customer identity with a like social security number or something like that. And that has to be seamless, because if there's any barrier to that, we've seen that causes huge drop-off at the point of registration if there's any challenge with us validating that information from a customer perspective. So really important for us to make that a seamless transaction. We also need to have robust second-party integration so that we work with our partners both in the gaming space and in social and other areas to make sure that we can validate that individual across different platforms. And finally, enhancing the customer identity, so making sure that we can match them in a probabilistic manner where we need to across multiple devices, and enhance that data, enhance that profile with additional behavior and information from their engagement with us. So that's how we build the identity. Once we've built that identity, we then need to make sure that that identity is integrated throughout the player journey. So this is fundamental to delivering that engagement that's necessary to keep customers coming back to us on a regular basis. So firstly, we build our brand's app first. We consider that experience as the core starting point, and we think about how do we make sure that we can get those features, that functionality in front of the customer as early as possible, and we can get them engaged in that mobile experience so that we're always there in their pocket whenever that moment comes along that they want to gamble or they want to play a game on that side. We have to make sure that the onboarding process is smooth. So a lot of the time, that relies on the location of the customer. So we use geo-targeting-based verification in some of our markets to validate where a customer is jurisdictionally and what rules we need to apply for them. That's especially relevant where we're talking about the US, where customers could move between states, and we need to understand which state they're in and which rules apply as a result. We need to be able to reward customers dynamically. So we have to be able to present dynamic rewarding. We have to get that in front of them in a meaningful way when they're on that device. And we also then need to make sure that when they're playing, when they're engaging with these rewards, when they've had that validation, that they're doing it in a safe way. So we have a lot of safety tools that fall under player safety. So we have an early detection scoring system which ranks players based on how risky they are, a range of different risk factors which we've identified and modeled, and we can profile them based on their behavior. We also make available a range of different safety tools directly within our mobile proposition so that customers can take specific actions like limiting their own play behavior, so setting deposit limits or play limits, and making those tools very easy to use in a mobile-first way so that that behavior becomes naturalized. And it's really first and foremost without interrupting or detracting from the exceptional experience that they expect when they do want to play. And we use all of that information to then deliver sustainable revenue. All of that together creates the cycle of behavior which produces a sustainable customer. And we use that to deliver all that information to deliver targeted marketing. So that targeted marketing has to be data-driven. We have to use all of this data which we've gathered about the customer to make informed decisions about what they want to see and when they want to see it. So the way that we do that, we have integrations with our various product catalogs across sportsbook and casino to make that information available in real time to our CDP. We have modeling around predictive and adaptive models to inform what the customer might want to do or see next. And obviously our CRM data, so that unified profile feeding into the CDP so that we've got that up-to-date, the relevant information that we need for that customer at the time that we need it. That syncs directly into our delivery platforms. So on the web and in the app, we have a behavioral feed, so events feeds, triggering behavior, informing the CDP of what do we need to show next, and pushing segments, delivering triggered messaging and scheduled messaging into those channels when it's appropriate to do so. So leveraging those integrations mostly in a native way, for example, like the Telium to Airship integration, and lots of API integrations to have real-time data feeds across the stack so that we can respond rapidly where we need to. And all of this requires targeted, personalized content. So we talked about this a bit earlier with DAZN. It's having the ability to create that content at scale, feed-driven information, feeding into a modular content build approach that's supported by a content library. So from a regulatory perspective, we need to make sure that all of our content can be built and signed off in advance so that we're complying with all local regulations, there's no concerns about the messaging that we're pushing out, and then making that available in nice, simple, drag and drop interfaces for marketers to compile those end messages in formats that they want, allowing things like A/B testing or MVT to happen really effectively, but then making sure that can be personalized at the point of delivery with real-time feeds. So live odds at the point of open from an email or a push perspective, the latest recommended games, and being able to say, you know, what's just been released, or is there any news that's happened that we can push to a customer to really drive that engagement with them and make sure that that experience is as relevant as possible. So what does this deliver for us ultimately? It delivers a meaningful and seamless experience for the customer while allowing us to comply with the regulations that we have in all these different markets. So we're able to get very granular. We're able to offer customers the ability to pick events within a match. For example, to say, okay, I want to see push notifications for this match whenever there's a throw-in or whenever there's a corner, because that's the type of granularity that our customers want to be able to drive that betting behavior. But we have the data to make sure that it's safe and secure and that they've actually got a robust, that they're not going into risky behavior while they're doing that. We're able to deliver targeted push, as I say, live match odds at the point of open from an email and a push perspective. And we're able to deliver those really exceptional in-app experiences like watching live streamed tennis, football, hockey, and actually betting in play, as you saw on the video earlier, that nice interactive overlay over the content so that you can keep watching the game, but engage and interact directly with that. Now, from an engagement perspective, that's really powerful. We've been able to drive our CSAT scores on trust to 87%, which is really, really positive in the industry that we work in. And we get 90% in some of our key markets, 90% of our traffic comes from mobile. It's a combination of app and web, but it really shows how that focus on app and the mobile experience is really working for us. And we're increasingly driving to optimize that experience. And that translates to revenue. So from a business impact perspective, I said we're working towards 90% of our revenue from locally regulated markets. We've got 78% in H1 this year. So we're well on the way. We're working really hard to grow within those regulated markets. 75% of our revenue is coming from mobile, and we only expect that to grow based on the changes that we're making and the way that we see the industry going. And we're still a little way off when it comes to the journey to zero. We're at 3.5% of our revenue from harmful gambling. We're very keen to bring that down, and the way that we integrate data, deliver a seamless customer experience through the funnel, deliver targeted communications with personalized content is going to be critical to us getting there over the next 14 months. Thanks.